And Ukrainian forces are fighting to keep control of Mariupol despite an ultimatum from Russian troops to surrender or, quote, be eliminated. The port city is a big strategic target for Russia. ABC News Senior Pentagon reporter Luis Martinez joins me now for more on this. Luis, right now it looks like Ukrainians are rejecting those Russian demands to surrender, and a small group of fighters are still defending Mariupol. How much longer can they hold out?
Good morning, Diane. We're talking about 2,500 Ukrainian troops that are holed up at a massive steel facility, a steel plant inside of Mariupol. The city itself seems to have been taken by control by the Russians, but inside the city center there is this very large complex, and we think about 2,500 Ukrainian troops, which have been there now, fighting heavily with the Russians over the last 6 weeks, almost 2 months, so actually from almost day one of this conflict, that they are holed up there now. As you heard from Marcus, the request has come in from the Russians for them to lay down their arms, but you're getting a very tough line from the Ukrainian leadership that no, they will not. It's really unclear how much longer they can actually survive without surrendering, if they do actually surrender, or if some Ukrainian leaders have said that they will fight to the death. Either way, it's going to be a very tough fight. Even though it may be a small piece of land inside Mariupol, it's going to be a very tough fight.
And why has Mariupol been such a focus for Russia throughout this invasion?
What you mentioned, Diane, this is a strategic port city. It lies on the western coast of an inland sea called the Sea of Azov. There's a small little water bridge that connects it with the Black Sea. When you look at a map of Ukraine, there's a peninsula that juts onto the south of Ukraine called Crimea. That's the Crimean Peninsula. Since the Russians took over Crimea back in 2014, they have been trying to extend, as you heard Marcus say, a land bridge. What does a land bridge mean? It means that you're extending control of what you have militarily from, let's say, the Russian border to the west, all the way through the south along that Sea of Azov, through Mariupol onto Crimea. It makes supply flow easier into Crimea, and you can continue to use Crimea as a base of operations for a push northward into other areas of specifically the Donbass region. That's the eastern part of Ukraine that we keep talking about. That's going to be the next main offensive from the Russians. If the Russians can control the south, let's say think about an arrow moving south from Kharkiv, and if an arrow moving north from Mariupol, you can pretty much encircle all the Ukrainian forces that are in that Donbass region, and that's going to be another major situation.
And Luis, if Russia is successful, what does that mean for Ukraine moving forward if they do gain control of Mariupol?
Well, you're going to have a new scenario, because if all of those Ukrainian forces in eastern Ukraine end up getting trapped, encircled, then how are they going to get those arms flows that we're seeing from the United States and other Western allies, those arms that are really keeping the Ukrainians in the fight? If Mariupol folds, now you're going to see that the Russians are control that land bridge. They'll be able to get more supplies because it is a port city, and then from there get more supplies and troops headed to the north. It's a way of reinforcing the arms flow, reinforcing the troop flow up to the north into the Donbass. It's going to be very difficult for the Ukrainians now at that point to control eastern Ukraine. And then what does that mean for the west? What does that mean for Kyiv? Is Kyiv, as you heard from Marcus, once again potentially becoming a target? And so a lot of potential opportunities open up for the Russians, but it's going to be very difficult for the Ukrainians to keep it up.
All right, Luis Martinez, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.